This is Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 1. I will stand upon my watch and will set me upon the tower and will watch to see what he will say unto me and what I shall answer when I am reproved. And Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables that he may run that readeth it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie, though it tarry. Wait for it, because it will surely come and will not tarry. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Rachak Kodash, double honor to the elder apostles, the elder bishops of Great Millstone, who rule very well, very beautifully. Double salutations to the Akim out here pushing this gospel in truth and in sincerity to the best of their ability, given to them by Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai. Peace, blessings, and salutations be unto the elect scattered abroad. May the election of Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Lord willing, fall upon your houses. This is Brother Kwana Watt, come back at you, Lord will, with edifying lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Lord will. It is edifying, Lord will. It is straight to the point, man. Hey, Jacob's trouble is around the corner, man. Right? Jacob's trouble is around the corner, right? We understand, right, that there is this war between Russia and Ukraine, and right, there's been major, action, right, between the two countries, right? Again, Ukraine and Russia, right? Russia basically, dropping a nuclear capable, missile, right, on Ukraine, right? And then as well as Russia basically just hit, a major power station, would put about 1 million plus Ukrainians, in dark, right? As well as, on the flip side, you got France, America, Poland, right? Basically giving Ukraine the okay, to use their weapons, right? Their missiles, right? Against Russia, right? Hence the response from Russia, which I just mentioned, right? Ukraine shot off a missile into Russia and Russia responded, man, right? Showing forth great power, right? So we understand, right? We're in the time of World War III. World War III has already started, man. I think even North Korean troops, right, were injured, in an attack, right, from Ukraine, right? About 100 North Korean troops, So really this whole situation, man, is boiling out of hand. But we understand, right, prophecy, right? Prophecy states, right, that Jacob's trouble, right, the hour of temptation, as we read in Revelation, the 3rd chapter, the 10th verse, right, has to happen and take place prior to the peak of World War III, which the peak would be what, right? ICBM nuclear missiles being used, right, to destroy mainly America. There will be nuclear missiles that do get fired off in different areas around the globe, right? But the main destruction, the main target, right, is going to be America, right? Before that peak can hit, we understand that Jacob's trouble has to take place, man. And again, we're in the time where Jacob's trouble, right, is again right around the corner. If World War III has already started, that means Jacob's trouble is creeping up on us, man, extremely fast, So I'm going to grab this before I get into an article, which I do have pulled up. This is Jeremiah chapter 30, and I'll start at verse 5. It says, for thus saith Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace, right? Because the time that's coming is, as it says in Ecclesiastes, the 3rd chapter, right? There's time and place, in a season for everything, right? And we're not, right? Because we're not in the time of peace, right? We're not in the time of peace. We're in the time of war, where shit is about to get real hectic out here, man, right? Again, as we read in Ecclesiastes, the 3rd chapter, right? It says, verse 6, it says, ask ye now and see whether a man doth travail with child, right? Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness, right? Because even your mightiest men in this world, man, your Andrew Tates, your Floyd Mayweathers and Mike Tysons and Canelo Alvarez's and all these mighty big names, the Conor McGregor's and these major billionaire, healthy, content creators, your Jake Pauls, all these people, man, right? All these men even they're going to be in straits, man. You know? Because as we're going to read, like, it's going to be like a time like no other, right? Verse 7, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. No time in history prior to this moment that's approaching, right, is greater, again, than these events that are about to take place. Nothing, man. Absolutely nothing. Thus saith Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. Why? Because it's going to encompass many different things, man. Right? Famine, earthquakes, pestilence, right? Apparitions, and so on and so forth. The list continues to go on, man. This is about to be a very deadly time, you know? It says, it is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. Now, the reason why, right, I pulled out these two precepts because of this article right here, right? This is on the news break. Our brother had posted this, right? And I had seen something on it, man. But, you know, nonetheless, it says Trump threatens Brics nations with 100% tariff, man, right? Which we're going to grab again. I got an article pulled up that kind of backs this article up as well, right? It says President-elect Donald Trump on Saturday demanded a group of developing countries committed to the use of the U.S. dollar as their reserve currency. It's like you. President-elect Donald Trump on Saturday demanded a group of developing countries committed to the use of the U.S. dollar as their reserve currency and threatened to impose 100% tariff if they've attempted to ban it. And we understand that they've already been, easing off of the dollar, man, right? And now they're like, it's not easing off of it; they're just getting rid of it, right? They're getting rid of it, and they're creating their own, right, digital currency, right, to replace the dollar. Right, you have Saudi Arabia, which I believe now is part of the Brics, nations. Right, they had a 50-year agreement. Right, a 50-year agreement when dealing with, the dollar. Right, that they had to trade, import and export in the American dollar, which ultimately gave and allowed for the U.S. dollar, right, to be in power. Right, it gave it some type of power because we understand, right, that Saudi Arabia, which is, is the head of OPEC, right, is the largest oil producer, right, in the world, right? Crude oil producer in the world. And so that made it, again, gave the dollar power. But see, they didn't renew that deal, man. They didn't renew that deal, right? So now Saudi Arabia is starting to trade, right, their oil and import and export other things, right, outside of the U.S. dollar, which is, again, devaluing, right, the U.S. dollar. And so Trump is coming in here and saying, hey, if you stop using the U.S. dollar, we're going to throw tariffs on you, man. Which, again, we're going to get into these tariffs. That's ultimately going to destroy the U.S. economy and affect heavily the U.S. consumers, man. Which just shows you, right, that the American government really don't care about their people. And even then, right, 2 Corinthians 2:11, we're not ignorant of Satan's devices, his evil schemes, and his plots, man. Right? We understand why all this is taking place, man. Right? Because this is, Esau, Edom ultimately, making moves to create that chaos, right, which he needs to impose, right, his so-called solution, which would be the RFID micro C-hip, which we know in Revelation, the 13th chapter, the 16th verse is the charagma, right? The M-A-R-K of the beast, man. It says the idea that the Brics countries are trying to move away from the dollar while we stand by and watch is over, Trump wrote on his social media platform, Truth Social, referring to the acronym for the original group of countries in the bloc, right? Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, right? Which we know the United Arab Emirates, right? We know that Saudi Arabia, right? We know a plethora of different, Muslim countries, I think even Ethiopia, Libya, if I'm not mistaken, right, have entered into the Brics, right? It says the geopolitical alliance has since expanded to include Iran, Egypt, Ethiopia, and United Arab Emirates, which, there's more. Saudi Arabia is in there as well, right? It says we require a commitment from these countries that they will never create a Brics currency nor back any other currency to replace the mighty US dollar, or they will face 100% tariffs and should expect to say goodbye to selling into the wonderful US economy. These nations don't give a fuck, man. You know, these nations truly and honestly don't give two shits about America, right? They've already stated that, right? Many times. So this can't be, right, because of these nations, man. Right? They've been saying this. Again, Saudi Arabia got rid of that deal, which you can look it up, man. You can look these things up. This is not something that is being made up. These are real events that are taking place. Right? So again, it's not about these nations and their tariffs, because again, they're trading amongst each other. Right? In each other's currency and building up their currency. And I think it was, I can't remember what country. I'm pretty sure it was Brics. They were talking about as a group, right? They were talking about creating a gold-backed currency, man, right? Bringing that back, gold-backed currency, bringing back gold-backed currency, right? Which the US dollar used to be gold-backed, right? And then they took it away, right? They took away the gold-backed dollar, man, right? Now you got these FRNs, these Federal Reserve notes, man, right? Which, you know, the elder apostles, especially the elder apostle Remlab, has gone into that many a times, you know, speaking on the FRNs and whatnot, man, which is really a fiat currency, man. It has no value, right? Since they took away, you know, the gold-backed standard, or the gold standard, if I said that correctly, right? The dollar has no value, man. It's literally just a piece of fucking paper, right? Which Esau Edom has duped these countries into believing has value, right? But see, now they understand that this shit ain't got no value, man. Now they understand that they've been duped, you know? So now these nations are looking at America like, nah, we ain't fucking with you no more, man. You know? So, and then again, this is something this is a you know, a narrative that has been happening, right, for the last few years, man. Right? So you got to think, hey, man, why would these nations been talking about it? Why would you still impose tariffs on them? They don't even care. Again, it's not because, you know, it's not to, again, affect these nations, man. It's really, right, again, to cause, right, some kind of chaos, because again, this is going to hugely affect the consumers right here in America, you know? And that's all I really wanted to get on that. You can go ahead and read, you know, the rest of it. This is basically about it. You can pause the screen if you want to and read the rest. But I do want to grab this article, right, which ultimately tells, right, for those that don't know, right, this ultimately tells you what a tariff is, right, and how it's going to affect the U.S. economy, right? This is on dornsife.usc.edu, right? It says, what is a tariff and what is its function? It says a tariff is a tax placed on goods when they cross national borders. The most common type is an import tariff, which taxes goods brought into a country. There are also export tariffs, which are taxes on goods a country exports, though these are rare. The United States does not allow export tariffs, constitutional, blah, blah, blah. It says tariffs are typically imposed for protection or revenue purposes, right? A protective tariff increases the price of imported goods relative to domestic goods, right? Encouraging consumers to buy from local producers who are thus protected from foreign competition, right? It says a revenue tariff, on the other hand, is mainly used to generate money for the government. So what America would do, right, is these countries that are trying to, export goods to America, right, are basically going to be taxed, man. You know, just to do so, right? Which raises, right, on the they're taxing whatever goods it is, which raises the price, right, over here in America, right? Let's scroll down. Right? It says who pays a tariff and who benefits from it. It says in the US, it's the importer, the company or an entity bringing the goods into the country that pays the actual tariff to US Customs and Border Protection, part of the Department of Treasury. This payment occurs when the goods enter the country, though the true financial impact extends beyond the initial payer. Right? It says the impact of a tariff, it's like I'm outside. Right? It says the impact of a tariff depends on whether the country is imposing the country imposing it is large or small in terms of ability to influence world prices. Generally, economists define a large open economy, which would be America, as we're going to explain, as one who demands or supply can influence the world price of a good. Conversely, small open economies cannot influence global prices, right? So, for instance, Vietnam, while geographically small, right, it's a small country, is the third largest exporter of coffee. Its trade policies can significantly affect global coffee prices, making it a large open economy in that market. In contrast, a sprawling country like Russia plays a relatively minor role in the global coffee imports and exports, meaning it has little effect on world coffee prices, classifying it as a small open economy with respect to coffee. When a large open economy imposes an import tariff, several effects follow. Consider the example of the U.S. imposing a tariff on coffee imports, right? Higher prices for imported coffee, right? When America buys coffee, right, the prices are going to be higher, right? It says the price of imported coffee rises, making it more expensive for U.S. consumers and businesses such as coffee shops, right? So again, right, America imposing a tax on what they need, right, is going to raise prices here in America, right? It says terms of trade gain. Because the U.S. is a large open economy, the tariff can reduce the world price of coffee. Foreign producers like those in Vietnam may lower their prices to retain access to the large U.S. market. This price reduction, known as a terms of trade gain, for the U.S. ensures that the domestic price of imported coffee does not rise by the full amount to the tariff, right? Meaning that these other nations, right, are basically, going to be paying, lower prices, higher prices, if I'm not mistaken, right? Making it more of a hit on American consumers, man, because America's got to pay those higher prices. Really, what's happening is these nations are going to reduce their revenue price, right, on that coffee. So like, yes, they're going to reduce that revenue price, right, that they receive, right, they get back, right, so that way, when that tariff is imposed, basically an extra tax, right, what happens? They say there, all right, well, we're gonna accept a lower a lower piece of the pie, right? A smaller piece of the pie in order to continue to sell to the U.S. market, right? Meaning that they're not going to receive, right, as much money, right? They're going to lose a lot of money. But see, at the same time that happens, it takes a hit, because that means America's going to have to pay more on these imports, man, right? It says reduce trade volume, right? So lastly, the total volume of coffee traded decreases. Higher prices reduce U.S. demand for imported coffee, and foreign producers end up selling less coffee, causing a decline in world coffee exports. And as we read, right, it says if there's imports that are affected, well, it ultimately deters, right, consumers, right, from buying certain brands that are really from other countries, and turns them to go to the local, local producer. But see, America doesn't produce a lot of these goods and whatnot that it does import, right? Grain, meats and whatnot, right? All other consumer goods like clothing, electronics, right? America doesn't, for the most part, doesn't produce a lot of these things. America is one of the world's largest import countries right? America doesn't export a lot of things, right? America imports majority of the things that are here, So if America is basically putting taxes on imports, right, what it brings in, it's going to make it more expensive for the consumer here in America, man, right? It says if a small open economy imposes a tariff, the effects are more straightforward. Foreign producers have no incentive to lower their prices since the small economy's demand is too significant. The small economy's demand is too insignificant to affect the world market. As a result, the price of the imported goods rises by the full amount of the tariff. Moreover, the overall trade volume decreases, just as in the case of a large economy, but without any terms of trade gain, right? And here is the one that I want to It's about 4 paragraphs. So, but this is the point, right? It says, who is adversely affected by a tariff, and how? It says, in a large open economy such as the U.S., the effects of a tariff are mixed. Consumers, both individual and businesses, are negatively impacted by higher prices. However, the domestic industry protected by the tariff, such as U.S. coffee producers, benefit by being able to sell more of their product, right? So they lower their prices, right? So they're receiving less, money off top of their, let's say, they're making, $1, right, for each pound, right, of coffee that they sell, Well, an import or a tariff is set in place, and what they do, they lower the prices down to 50 cents, right? So that way, when a tariff is put on there, it'll bring it back up to $1. See, so they're really bringing in less money, They're bringing in less money, but see, they're still able to continue to sell, It says the government also benefits by collecting additional revenue from the tariff. The overall, which is talking about the economy that puts, that places the tariff, right? It says the overall effect depends on whether the benefits, like term of trade gains, outweigh the losses from changes in production and consumption patterns. If the terms of trade gains are larger than the negative effects, the country can benefit. If not, the overall effect is a loss. For a small country, there are no terms of trade gains, so tariffs generally result in worse outcomes by raising prices and reducing trade, right? It says the effects described above assume that everything else remains constant, meaning only the tariff in a specific sector changes. However, an important factor to consider is that when a country imposes tariffs on other nations, those nations often retaliate by imposing tariffs of their own. So-called retaliatory tariffs, these can compound the direct effects by reducing access to foreign markets and raising prices for other goods, right? So it's, again, this isn't even a wise thing to do, especially since the American dollar, is already going down. These nations don't care about the American dollar, man. Right? They're trading and importing and exporting in other currencies now, and America's not going to give in and start trading and operating, right, in other currencies, right? It says this is exactly what occurred in 2018 when the U.S. imposed tariffs, prompting retaliatory tariffs from China, the European Union, and others. In total, these retaliatory actions affected around 121 billion of U.S. exports, escalating the negative impacts by beyond the original tariffs. So there you go, man. So these nations, right, very well could, right, and we're talking about a huge nations, right? Russia, China, right? These are major economies, man. Major economies, right? With a lot of goods, especially, Russia with its crude oil, its copper, China with its, electronics and, a plethora of other things that these nations, produce, man. This is going to straight up hinder the U.S. economy, largely, but that's all I wanted to grab on that. Again, this article, explains what a tariff is and who is affected by it, man. But let's grab this right here, man, because again, this is ultimately going to, mess with you consumers, man, and you people are already, in a tight position, man. This is Job chapter 20 and verse 22. It says, in the fullness of his sufficiency he shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. And that when you go into that word wicked, it goes back to laborers, man. Right? So America, which America hasn't done it, right? But they're threatening, right, putting a tariff on these Brics nations, man. if America does, right, that's going to, again, raise prices, right, for the consumer, right? And these people are already feeling that pressure, feeling that pain, right? Prices are already going up, right? Inflation is still here, right? And this is ultimately going to cause for hyperinflation with a lot of goods, if not majority of goods. And these people can't even take what's going on now, you know, let alone more, you know, higher prices, man, you know, and that's going to cause for rioting. That's going to cause for, you know, protests and whatnot, right? Uproars of the people, you know. These people are not going to continue to take, you know, the bullshit, man. These people are snapping already, man, right? Let's jump to 2nd Esdras 15 chapter, because this is the time that we're in, right? 2nd Esdras 15 and verse 16 says, "For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their action shall stand in their power." These people are not going to continue to, you know, because again, right, these people are living, more and more people are living from paycheck to paycheck, man, right? The debt that these people are in is at the highest it's ever been, right? Credit card debt and whatnot. This is the highest that these people, or the highest that debt that these people have ever been in, right? As a whole, right? The American consumer. Right, so imagine more, right? More, you know, taxes, man, higher taxes, right? I know. I think it was a couple years ago. Actually, it was last year. Last year when I was buying eggs, you know, the eggs that, you know, I buy, like the 60 count. I got a big ass family, man, but nonetheless, right? They were like 15 bucks. Now, right now, they're at 20. Now, imagine these tariffs being put, you know, on the Brics nations, and them, you know, ultimately saying, you know what, we're not even, you know, we're gonna put tariffs on you, right? That's gonna make everything so much worse. It's gonna make everything so much worse. Prices are gonna fucking skyrocket, man. You know, that box of or carton of eggs is going to go from, you know, from 20 to, you know, 30, 35, right? Again, hyperinflation, which is prophesied to take place as we read in Revelation, the 6th chapter, man. You know, shit's about to get bad. You know, it says, verse 17, it says, "A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able," right? And we understand that, you know, Esau, Edom, right, has, you know, here, America, right, the government has ultimately set up a directive, right, to allow for, you know, the U.S. military or U.S. military, basically, or the National Guard, right, to use lethal force, right, if they need to. So what's going to happen, man? They already got the National Guard basically set up in many different states, right, already, right? So when this whole riot starts to happen, what's going to happen? They're gonna invoke, you know, they're going to invoke a curfew, right? They're going to invoke, you know, checkpoints and whatnot. And you think these people are going to stand for that in their own country? No, man. These American people, man, they believe that they're just so fucking privileged, man. You know? It's gonna further cause, right, the uprising. You know? And shit's gonna be crazy. Shit is going to be crazy, right? Verse 18 says, "For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled. The houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid." Why? Because again, right, the prices for consumer goods, right? Food, right? Clothes and electronics and all this other shit, right, is going to go up. But more importantly, right, food, water, all these things are going to fucking skyrocket, man. And these people are not going to be able to continue, right, to pay these prices. These people are already having a hard time now. You know? So how much more when the tariff is imposed, right? And these retaliatory tariffs are imposed as well. It's going to be bad, man. They're already having problems, you know, again, right? At these ports. Right? They sat there, they had a strike, it was all over the freaking news, right? And then they sat there and entered into some type of agreement, right? Which ultimately, settled the situation for about a month, maybe. And then what happened? They went back into a strike. They left the negotiation tables and said, no, we ain't getting what we want. We don't want no more machines taking our jobs. And they're asking for more money. So they're already having problems, man. That right there is going to make these prices go up just in itself, man. Man, all these events that are taking place, man, right, leading straight up to Jacob's trouble, man. Right? Verse 19, it says, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread. 2nd Ezra 6th chapter, right, tells you that these storehouses shall suddenly be found empty, and what's gonna add to that, right? These different food recalls, right? There's a shit ton of food recalls that have been happening in the last 5 years. A shit ton. You can look up all the different food recalls that have taken place. A few hundred of them, man. As well as, again, you got these different farmers, right, being affected, right? Taxes being put on them, crops being destroyed really on purpose, right? These different, again, the last like 5-6 years, these different food processing plants that have been hit, right? And now you got this strike on the port, right? These ports being shut down. And now you have talks about tariffs being imposed on these Brics nations, man. Which America gets a lot of their, their goods from these Brics nations. So we're looking down the barrel of Jacob's trouble, man. We're looking down the barrel of Jacob's trouble. And the only way to be protected in those times that are coming, is to be a part of the elect. Lord, will we be of that number, man? It's to trust and believe and have faith in Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. Let's go to this Psalms chapter 91. Psalm chapter 91 verse 1, it says, he that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. That secret place is going into the scriptures, man. Isaiah 33:6, wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times and the strength of salvation, man. You getting this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding will allow for and produce a hedge of protection from Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, right, around you, man. Right, Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, he said, roughly paraphrasing, he only loves those that dwell with wisdom, man. And when you love something, right, you want to protect it. Right? Just like for those that are parents, right, you love your kids, you try to protect your kids from all the wicked shit in this damn world, man. Now, again, we're in captivity, so you can only do so much, but nonetheless, right, the point is still there. When you love something, you do everything you can to protect it. Right? Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua loves those that dwell with wisdom. So therefore, he's going to protect those, right, that dwell with wisdom, that have this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. And this it says right here, shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty, which is going into that grace, going into that protection. Right? You go look up that word, grace. It goes into unmerited love, favor, blessings, protection. It goes into all those things, man. And that's what Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua is ultimately going to, do for those, right, that turn away from this world, man. Turn away from wickedness. Turn away from evil, right? And take heed to righteousness, man. Take heed to the scriptures, the words of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. He's going to protect them, right? It says verse 2, it says, I will say of Yahweh, he is my refuge and my fortress, my power. In him will I trust, right? Surely he shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler, right? Which that snare is going to, is a trap, right? Which the ultimate trap is going into this charagma, right? That's a trap, right? Scriptures talk about he deceived them that took the MARK, right? It's a trap. It's a straight up trap, right? And Naphtali is Esau, Edom, right? And it says what? And from the noisome pestilence, we're going into the ICBM nuclear missiles, man, the destruction, right? He shall cover thee with his feathers, and under his wings shalt thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and thy buckler, man. That's right, man. This wisdom, knowledge, and understanding what's going to protect us. Really, Yahweh Shem Shah is going to protect us. You know? But again, right, as I stated before, us getting this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, right, will ultimately produce a hedge of protection from Yahweh Shem Shah around us, man. You know? Verse 5, thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flieth by day. Right? Because the Lord said what? Right? He gave us not the spirit of fear, but a power of love and of a sound mind. Right? It says, verse 6, nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday. Going into the missiles. Verse 7, 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. So all these things that are coming, right, as we read in if I'm not mistaken, I think it's Job, the 12th chapter. No, it's like Psalms 112. Right, let's grab that. Damn, what was it? Let's go back, right? Verse 7, 1,000 shall fall at thy right side, and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. That's right. You know, scriptures talk about basically, you know, we don't fear evil tidings. Right? We don't fear evil tidings, right? Which goes into bad news. Evil meaning bad and tidings meaning news. Right? Because Yahweh Shem Shah has got us, man. Right? Only, it says verse 8, only with thine eyes shalt thou behold and see the reward of the wicked, man. Right? And we know the reward of the wicked is going to be judgment, man. Straight up fucking judgment. Right? Because thou hast made Yahweh B'Hashem Shah, which is my refuge, even the Most High, thy habitation. There shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling. That's right, man. You know? Lord, will we be of the elect? And this is speaking to us, man. You know? Even though we see these things coming, right? Even though we see these things are about to take place, hey, still, man. We don't look at these things like, oh, fuck, man, what am I going to do, man? How are we going to? No, because scriptures, set that heart aright and constantly endure, man. Right? Keep that eye single on Yahweh Shem Shah, and you straight, man. Lord, will you be of the elect, man? Lord, will we all be of the elect? You know? It says, verse 11, for he shall give his angels charge over thee to keep thee in all thy ways. They shall bear thee up in their hands, lest thou dash thy foot against a stone. Right? So, Yahweh Shem Shah, again, is going to protect us. Right? Thou shalt tread upon the lion and adder, the young lion and dragon shalt thou trample under feet. Because he has set his love upon me, therefore will I deliver him. I will set him on high, because he hath known my name. He shall call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. With long life will I satisfy him and show him my salvation. That's right, man. You know? And you know, I ultimately just wanted to, touch on, again, these tariffs, man. You know? And how, again, right, America threatening to impose tariffs, right, on, the Brics nation, how that's going to affect the consumers, man, the American consumer, right? America imports a lot of goods. The majority of the goods that are here are imported, right? So America is going to place a tax on, those imports, which will make prices go higher, right? We'll see at the same time, these nations are going to possibly import a retaliatory tax, which will double the prices, man. Which will lead to hyperinflation, which means that you people are fucked, man. Right? So unless you turn to Yahweh Shem Shah, if America does impose these tariffs, Jacob's trouble, man. Jacob's trouble is upon us. So with that, Lord wills, edifying, Lord will straight to the point. I'm going to give all praise, honor, glory to Yahweh. Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rachach, Vadash, double honor to the other apostles, the other bishops, great millstones. Till next time, I say shalom.